Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. So I'm really happy with what we got done yesterday, right? We can talk to a signpost. And you know what? I'm just realizing we're not having the little button render to show that there's more pages. But when we walk in this room, see the red box in front of us is now extended far up above so that we can actually talk to this guy. So that's cool. But once we walk out of it, our hitbox is still disjointed. So we have to find a way to revert our hitbox, you know, depending on like the warp zone, right? So maybe our warp zone has a hitbox setter for the dialogue detection so that we can say, hey, when we transition into a room like this with a shopkeep, be able to disjoin our hitbox so that we can talk to him far away. But then I guess maybe that's not such a good idea because we kind of want, you know, maybe there's another instance in the game that we want to disjoin our hitbox maybe to the side, and maybe that's not from a warp zone, so maybe we don't do that. I'm not exactly sure. So maybe what we can do for now, I'm thinking either we can make a little dungeon for us to walk into here, because once we walk here, it just takes us back to Gecko's. But if we walk to... there's another page down here that takes us to the snow level. So this one takes us to the snow level. So maybe we make sure... And what was that? We just had a... There was like a incorrect... Right here. Right there. Why is that? We have this drawn here for some reason. That looks like the bar stool, the bar countertop. So we'll have to fix that in tiled, and then maybe we add a house down here, you know, another cabin with maybe room for another NPC to be added. And then a dungeon. Yeah. Maybe for now we'll just make... Yeah, I think we'll make like a little dirt ground with dirt edges so that we can walk inside the dungeon there. So I think that's a decent idea. So if we open up our master sheet, we need to design the insides of a dirt dungeon. We don't have really any like sort of mud ground. So we'll make mud ground paired with mud corners and edge pieces and stuff. So the doorway seems fine. Actually, let's just take it just in case. So what I'm going to do here is just try to design, you know, we want a 16 by 16. So let's do the floor first. And we want, you know, some consistency in the color palette. You know, I never know how this works, how do I take the color palette over to my next page? Okay. There's got to be a better way to do that. I want like a... stable palette that I can just bring over. So we're looking for this to be like a muddy sort of ground for the dungeon, right? So it's so tough to try to make it feel natural, right? Like I don't know what kind of pattern we want, but we want it to just look like a muddy floor. Honestly, something like that isn't bad. Like maybe if we just do that again and mess around. Yeah. I like it. I like it. So we'll do that. We'll copy just that tile. This will be our muddy floor. And we can put that. It would be not in a non-collidable zone here. Okay, so we need to design the edges and the corners for this muddy wall. So I guess we can do, this was a good ratio for the effect, for the faux 3D effect. So we'll take this as a starter point. And then we'll just make sure that we have the right colors, which I think the black is fine, because this is ultimately the bottom edge. So I think, actually, no, the top edge. Yeah, it's the top edge. It's like the outside. The black is the outside, so we can maybe just make, our dirty color, our brown color, except, we want it a little more interesting than that. So we'll maybe give it like a little pattern here. So maybe it's got that cracked. It's tough too, because it's like if we think that this is the top edge, so we kind of want the outside coming down in a way to kind of help the effect. If we shape it like a V, it'll kind of help with that perspective look, maybe. It's hard to do. Because you can't, since it repeats, it's very hard to get something like that. But maybe if we... I kind of like that, actually. Yeah, and then maybe... I don't know if... Because this is the top... No, this is the top edge. Let's see what that looks like. Because it's tough to imagine it without seeing it with the floor piece. So if that's the top edge, then let's imagine, this needs to be one more pixel worth of dark brown. Cool. And then, for example, if we had the floor beneath it and that was the top edge, it might look something like this. And maybe we do add a brown edge there, where the edge meets the wall, right? Because right there, it doesn't really look, you know, this crease right here, it doesn't look like this is a crease. So maybe we do keep this black line as a crease. It's a little too harsh, right? So I don't like making new colors just so that we can see what it looks like. Because ideally we have a set color palette, right? That looks better than the dark black. So let's try that for now. And then I guess we can maybe keep, I think we can literally just keep the edge pieces and just rotate them. So we can, let's mimic our other one up here. So if this is our bottom edge, this is actually our top edge, then we need our bottom edge. Shit. Okay, let's try that again. You know what? Well, it'll be easy if we just do this and we say we paste it, we place it, and we rotate it 90. And that's this edge right here. So let's do that again. Paste it, place it, rotate 90. And that's this edge right here. Okay, paste it. Okay, so there is our dungeon dirt floor, as well as walls. So we just need our corner. So let's take this and we'll mimic our already designed corner. And we'll make it here. I guess it's probably easier to just do it like this, like we'll just do a new canvas and it'll be 32, 32. We don't need the looping, so we will just paste this as our template. This is our corners, so we need at least the darker brown. And then maybe the lighter brown as a design. So we can probably keep with, you know, I think we want to kind of mimic this angle, this inward angle, right? To keep the flow looking like it's pointing. Something like that. let's try this. This is looking pretty good. Maybe we just add another kind of diagonal. You know, the black, I think the hard black there, we want to change to our darker green color instead of the black. But other than that, this is looking pretty good. Yeah. Let's try to do that. Let's try to pull this darker brown here. Or it's like a greenish, I don't know what it is. Yeah, I think I like the black outline still. That looks pretty good. I guess we'll see once we paint it, right? If it's okay. So let's copy this. Okay. Then we need a doorway. And we need an under doorway and a over doorway. So I think if we take our bottom edge here, we can kind of overlay this door. So let's take the bottom edge and then we will put the doorway outline over it. This is way off. This is the wrong one. We need to take this one. Yeah, we need the bottom edge here. Okay. Okay. So the idea here, yeah, the idea here is to maybe add this to a new layer. Yeah, okay. So let's do this. Okay, so we need this negative space, to be removed, but then all the stuff that stays is a remainder of whatever pattern is underneath it. So on layer 1 here, we just need to erase what isn't the door here. It's hard to see because they're the same color. But it looks like from here to here. It's hard to see there. This is tough. That's not right. That looks more right. That looks about right. Okay, so what's left is something that is the same shape, but has the same repeating pattern that needs to be fitted there. That looks good. I like that. So this will be, you know, this will be the doorway. This is the third layer. So there's the floor layer, there's an above the ground layer, then there's a top level layer that renders over our player. So that'll be the top level layer. And then, oh, what? And then we just need to paint a solid black for the ground level layer. Cool. So those should be our two doorways for the underground dungeon. Cool. Just like how we had it for the cabin, we have it for the dungeon here. It's looking right. Oh, you know what? It looks like we added one more layer. No? Oh, it's looking right. Yeah, looking right. Okay. So we have a new kind of ground, kind of dirt ground for a dungeon, and then the walls, and then the corners, and then the door. So that should work. So what we're gonna do is export as a master sheet PNG. So now that we exported the PNG, we're able to come into our tiled application here, and we actually just want to reload it. This is the wrong thing. Tiled. Okay, there we go. So let's find, first of all, the one we missed. The one we misrendered over here. This. How did we miss that? So right here, on the top level tile, we accidentally drew this. So we'll erase that from the top level tile. Cool. So that should fix that issue. Now, when we walk into this dungeon, it needs to take us to an indoor dungeon. For right now, I'm just going to place it right here next to this one. It doesn't really matter because they're self-contained, but once we have passageways to other dungeons and stuff, we can get a little more creative with it. But for right now, let's try to do the same thing. So we're going to take a corner, you know, build out the corners. Edges. I'm already noticing the mistake, right? You know, it's like we need a less dark greenish on the, you know, it looks like an arrow. So we can kind of leave the corner bits, but not the, I don't like the arrow bits. But it's already looking pretty cool, like a more like a dungeon, right? Cool. Yeah, honestly, it's not bad. I just don't like the arrows. It looks like arrows, right, for the corners, which works on the black because the arrows, you know, the lines are contiguous, but on here it doesn't read as much. So let's get our door placed first, and then we'll worry about, let's put a door over here. And then, oh shoot, man, this is all top level. We need to delete all this. And then we need to go to our ground tile. And we need to paste it here. And it didn't work. Shit. That's okay. We'll just do it again. That was my bad. That's the one thing about this is like I really have to make sure I'm on the right layer. And I'll fix the arrow bit. It's looking pretty good otherwise though. Sweet. And then doorway. And on the above, actually on the top level tile, which we should have none there, yeah. On the top level tile, we're going to render this one. Just like that. Yeah. So that'll be rendered above the player. And then this is our dungeon. Let's get the arrows out of there. I don't like the arrows. So I'm going to just save that. And then all we need to do is edit our master sheet. Oh, no. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I don't like the arrows. Let's get rid of the arrows. Let's just add the darker brown in there. I think the very middle might be okay to have it. But over here, certainly not. Yeah, let's see how that looks. And maybe... I just don't like the rectangular nature of that. Let's try that. Let's try what that looks like. What's cool is if we just save it and load our tile, it should have it there, which it does. Okay, I don't like the little V, and there's too many dark lines. So I don't like the V. And then we'll just get rid of like every other dark line here. Let's see how that looks. Like, I don't... It's hard to imagine it. Okay. You know, I don't like it. Still. I think I just don't like the last dot there. So let's move the dot there to the very middle so we have that continuity with the corner. And then we should be okay. Let's try that. I did not mean to quit a sprite there, or did I? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's a dot or two off I don't like about it, but that's a decent start. Let's see if we can place it. So how does that work exactly? We'll walk through how we get this map now as a warp zone when we walk into the dungeon area. So what we'll do is we will first export as global map. So boom, there's our new global map. So that's in our game. So now we need to see where which scene number. This is a 7.3, map 7.3. This is 7.4. So the warp zone that's at 7.4 needs to take us not to 7.3, but to one next to our other one. So in our warp zones, let's look for our warp zones. Yeah, we've got this. So our 7.2 warp zone needs to warp not to... Actually, it's a 7... Oh, God. We just did it, and I just forgot it. 7.4. Okay. 7.4 needs to take us not to 7.3. Okay. So 7.4 needs to take us not to 7.3, but to 112. And 112 is row 1, 12 over. 12 is the one to the right of this 111, which is where we drew our log cabin. So now the warp zone should take us there. It's just that we need an X and Y to match where the doorway is now. So one thing we need to do is make sure that our walls are in the collidable object tile number ID. So they aren't at the moment. Oh gosh. Oh no. Okay. So look, we walk in here. We are at the right thing, but we can walk over everything. And, you know, we got the rendering right on the top doorway, so it's rendering on top of us, which is good. But we shouldn't be able to walk. We shouldn't be able to walk to the log cabin from the dungeon here, which we're kind of able to do. So let's go back to our A sprite. And all we have to do for this is move all of these parts. Oh man, this sucks. Cause look, if we move this, you know, we need to move this because these are collidable. But what that'll do is once we save this, it'll change. And this is why we had that error at the beginning with the rando bar stool. Is because by the time we save a new PNG like this, export as master sheet, that changes all of our tiled values. So anything that, you know, used to be there is now not. So that really sucks. So we need to at least, you know, well, that's fine. It's just that, yeah, we need to redraw it now. So that's one negative about this method, but if we were just better at planning, we, you know, could have saved us that. So. This is above ground. We need ground tiles. And then we need to get the right Y value so that we warp to the correct spot, to the doorway, right? So we actually fit in the doorway. So once we draw our floor, which is over here now, okay, save, export as new global map. Now that should be collidable. Let's see, you know, this would be virtual width minus 3 character spaces, 3 tile sizes. So let's do virtual width minus 3 tile sizes on the Y and see if that, or on the X, and see if that gets us where we're going. So instead of the 7.4 warp zone taking us to an X of 50, we want virtual width minus the tile size times 3. And then a Y of 35, which... Really? Hold on. Warp zone, that should be the Y, right? Yeah, Y. Oh, player Y. Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't want this. We don't want this at all. Undo, undo, undo. Okay. XY of the warp zone, XY of the player. So the X would need to be our virtual width minus the tile size, about 3 tiles over from the right side, and this needs to be maybe virtual height minus a tile size to put us right in the doorway. Let's see. All right. So we're gonna come over here. Okay. Oh my gosh, it worked. Okay, and then we need a warp zone back out, right? So back to where we need to add another warp zone to get us back, you know, because this is... Where do we do the, you know, warp zone from 7.2? I don't see where we're doing the corresponding warp zone for the log cabin. But I think this can afford to be maybe times 2. I don't exactly know. And you know what, before we get too far, like, we know we're gonna change this, so let's go to our spawn. And let's just spawn us on 7.4 where we're trying to walk, so we don't have to keep doing this. Walking through the geckos. So we're here, we walk up, we're there. See, that's good, like your head kind of peeks out. And then we need another warp zone. So, okay, so in our 7.2, I'm curious where we hide our other warp zone to come back out of the log cabin, because I don't really see it here. Where is it? Warp zone to 111. Oh, and then the 111 right here back to 7.2. Okay. So we do... Come on, man. Okay. So let's do that same thing where we say, okay, well, this one is a 7.4 warp zone. But then we need a 112? 112. 112 warp zone. And it is a warp zone with an X and Y. Oh gosh. Yeah, we're coming back to the 7.4. So this is 7.4. And then, you know, the placement of the warp zone itself needs to be essentially where the old one, where we spawn the old one. So if we look above here, see how the X and Y of the warp zone to get back home is basically the X and Y of where we put the player. It's just 5 pixels, 25 pixels lower. So we'll try this where we'll say, you know, this is the X and Y. So this is the X, and that remains the same. Well, plus 3, so I don't know. We'll add the plus 3 just to, I don't know. And then the Y is gonna be 20 pixels lower than our Y. So our Y is virtual height minus tile size times 2, and then we will add 30. No, we'll add 25. And then we should be warping. Oh my gosh, what is all this? Is that right? Gosh, it's just a lot of parameters there. Okay, let's see. Okay, we walk in, transition. We walk out. Shit. 112, 112. Okay. And you know what? Like, we can try to just say, hey, this is at 0, 0, because I think we're rendering our warp zones. So if we can't see it here, then something might be wrong. We can't see it. Okay. So yeah, we just didn't have it in the right spot. So let's undo that, and we'll just try to move up. We'll try to move this up so that it is maybe a tile size times 4 and see where that puts us. We have to kind of like manually place it. Oh, okay. 7, 4, 7, 4. Yo, why did we crash there? Yeah, why did we crash there? Map 23. Pits. Really? Crash on pits? What? Oh, do we not have a pit for, because we haven't tried warping back. Oh, yeah, we did. We do warp back from, out of the normal map zone. So, like, if we were to put... I don't know. What did we do differently here? Do we do anything differently? No? We just insert it, teleport to it, and then teleport back from it. 7, 4. 7, 4. Okay. Should work. We've got the 7, 4. We've got the... Oh, wait a second. We're missing 2 arguments here. Oh my gosh. What the... Okay. What the... This is jacked up. Okay, we'll do this from scratch again. Like, this is so bad. Okay, we know 7, 4 is our last 2 arguments. So, first 2 is where the warp zone is, X and Y. And then second 2 are where it's going to move the player once we're done warp zoning, which needs to be about the same X and Y that triggered the movement in the first place, right? So like as we go in, you know, wherever the hitbox for that thing was, which is in our case times 3, and then virtual height minus tile size times 2. What did I just do? Tile size times 2. Okay, so let's give that a shot. Now the green will be in the wrong spot, but we're just testing if the warp zone works. Yeah, well, it put us in the wrong spot. It needs to put us in the... It's close. It's the right scene, but it's not the right. If the X is here, then virtual height minus tile size times 2. Let's see if we put 0. Okay, our X must be way off. Or our X is putting us... It's detecting... So I think what's happening is like it's moving our player a little bit touching the collidable map object, which triggers a collision, which triggers moving, so it's not colliding. So I think we just need to tweak the X position here so that we don't go crazy. So if we look at this one, our X and Y of our warp zone is almost the X and Y that we warp to. It's just the same X, but 10 lower. So let's try that. Same X, which is virtual width minus tile size times 3, but 10 pixels lower. Yeah, 10 pixels bigger, which will put us lower. So virtual height minus tile size times 2, and then we'll add the 10 times 2 plus 10 pixels. So let's try that. Cool. Still not right. You know, why would it put us... It would put us here if it detects a collision on one of these things. So why is it detecting a collision on one of these things? Let's see. Another way we can do this is say like, hey, we want our warp zone to take us right here, right? Or, oh shit. You know, we can say we want it to take us right here, you know? So what if we take, 48 and 52. 48, 52, X and Y. Let's try that. 48 and 52. So we'll say 48, 52. Nice. It didn't face us the right direction, but once we have the exit lined up, we can afford to go a little higher, maybe 48, 48. And then we just need to place the warp zone proper, and then we're good. Nice. I think we can go a little higher. Because I want the thing to kind of cover our head a bit. Oh yeah, and then we get stuck. So it can't be that high, but it needs to be close. A little lower. Oh, and the 48 was fine. It's just this, it needs to be lower. Yeah, maybe there's a way. There's got to be a way where we can program this so it's less trial and error like this. That should work. That should work, because now once the warp zone is in the proper spot, we should be able to get it. So let's move it to virtual width minus the tile size times 3. And then a Y of virtual height minus tile size of 2. And let's see where that green dot is. Right there. Okay, so it needs to be a little lower, so we can add maybe 10 pixels worth so we don't accidentally trigger it while we walk in. And we still trigger it, so we either need to move us up or this down or both. So I'm moving the thing down. We still collide with it, so let's move us up a bit. So let's say instead of 45, let's move us up to, actually that's the warping back. We need the warp zone. Oh no, this is right. Yeah, we need to move us. No, it's right here. So the second height times 2, let's move us up by like 10 pixels and just make sure we are higher when we come in. Yeah. So that got us out, so let's find that sweet spot of like, just peek us in, because we don't want to trigger. That's good. That's good. Look at that. Now we have a little dungeon. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I like that. I like that. I like that. Sweet. Okay. So we still need to add. We need to add the new cabin for the other cabin with hopefully another NPC in there that we need to make. But we've got a dungeon kind of working. We'll have to figure out the disjointed hitbox reset and how we want to handle that. Either handle it via the warp zone or handle it via the scene change. I don't know. I feel like we could handle it via scene change and via warp zone. So it's like, you know, either we have a disjointed hitbox for a certain scene you're in, or, gosh, it gets tough because when do we revert it? You know, every scene would just default to standard hitboxes unless otherwise overridden. And then, you know, if you're in the shopkeep, you have the overridden disjointed hitbox for the dialogue trigger. I don't know. But we'll call it there. Let's take a look at our git diff here. And I know there's a way. For me to resize the windows, but maybe not on this Tmux. Okay, we didn't do much. We just made some new artwork, added some new warp zones, and then redid some tile to fix some stuff. So it's really not all that crazy. Okay, so let's do... We added dungeon map, dungeon sprites with warp zone on scene 7-3. Sweet, there's our commit. Thanks for watching. We'll raid out here to someone who's doing some game dev stuff. Let's see. You know what? I think we're gonna have to go with Brightside again, because I know he's doing some developing. All right. Well, hey, thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll get some more game dev done. Thanks for watching.